Good afternoon, traders, and welcome to a live session of the yen pairs. Right. So those of you who are not familiar with my voice, guys, my name is Sandila, one of the chat analysts. So we'll be having a session today for the yen pairs. Right. I'd like to thank everyone who joined. So let's start with the US dollar yen, and let's see what are we having here. So I'll be starting from the high time frames all the way down to a 1 hour time frame to see what is happening with US dollar yen. Right. So as you can see here, we had the structure. This is what I'm looking at here. We had this impulsive move to the downside. But this is just a detailed where this is coming from. This is just a chart from the historical data. So we've had this move to the downside. We've had an A here and a B and a C. Um, so this is the last C wave that you are seeing here. But I'm going to start my analysis at this from here. So we have this three wave to the upside, which is our W here, and we are looking at this three wave to the downside, which is our W and X, and we are looking at this here as a three waves ABC to complete that Y, which completed that X there in purple. And now what we're looking for, we are looking for this move to the upside. It should be in three waves to complete that Y there, right? So that is what is currently happening on the weekly time frame. We are still looking for a move to the upside, but that move to the upside is not the actual move all the way up. You can see that after we have completed this move here, we are looking at this structure. This is an A here, and we are looking at this. Let me just clear this one here. We are still here. We're looking at this as an A here, and these three waves is our wave B, and we'll be looking for this last leg to the downside for our wave C to complete that B there. Then we'll be looking at this major move to the upside. But what is currently happening now? This move here is this is a major move because you can see we are on a weekly time frame. We are looking for a couple of 1,000 pips to the upside now before we can have that last leg for a C wave to the downside, and then after that we will be expecting for this huge move to the upside. Right, so that is just that will be completing this structure here. Three waves up, three waves down, and we'll be looking for this three wave to the upside. Let's just confirm and see what the indicator is telling us from the weekly time frame. Right, so you can see that the RSI is trading well above the 50 mark here. This confirms that we are in a bullish move. The momentum is to the upside, no doubt about that. You can see that we are having an impulsive move. This is the impulsive move that we are having, and the RSI is also confirming that. Right, so now what might happen here is that we might start to get a move like this. We might start to get an RSI to come and retest this 50 mark here, and we start to resume a move to the upside. Right, so as long as this RSI will stay above the 50 mark here, we will still be looking for the move to the upside. Up until then, it closes below the 50 mark here, then we can start to look for the move to the downside. There's a possibility here. There's a possibility here that from these current levels, we must start to get a move to the downside, but I'll show you that one when you go on a lower time frame. But for now, just know that we are looking at this structure here to complete this last three waves leg, which will be completing that Y there. Right, so let's just see here on a daily. For a detailed charts, you can check on our website. Okay, let's move down to the daily time frame. Let's see what we have here. So for those who have been with us for a couple of months, they will remember very well that we have been looking for this move to the upside for quite some time now, and that is what is currently happening. For this move, we've been tracking this move here, this last leg, because we're looking for this move, and eventually we got the move, and we got it from the dips down there at the bottom, and we said now that USDN was that move to the downside there was finished, and we're starting this move to the upside, and we caught it right there at the bottom. So right, so on a daily, this is the structure that we are looking at here. We are looking at this as a 5-wave move to the upside. This is what we are trading. This is our wave A here, and all this thing that is happening here that you see here, this is a 3-wave to the downside, 3 waves up, 3 waves to the downside here. They are completing this B here in an intermediate degree, and now we are looking for this move to the upside for our wave C. So we're looking at this move here. From here, this is our wave 1, and all this here is our wave 2, and now we're looking for a 3, 4, and a 5. So you can see that we still have a long way to go here, because we are expecting that we might come as far as this other side of the channel, or even break it higher, and then we start to get this move to the downside. But for now, we are not going to focus, or we're not going to worry about this move to the downside. We are focusing here on this move to the upside, and you can see that the stock is just the RSI is right at the top there. It's showing the momentum is very strong to the upside, and we want this one to keep trading above the 50 mark. Yeah, if it does come and retest this 50 mark, it will be another opportunity that we can decide to jump in again. Those of you will recall that we have a trade that is some of you might be holding, but I've just a minute, let me just admit some here. Right, so I've just called that we can take a profit on that trade, because we will see on that smaller time frames we are already in a wave 5. So we know that a wave 5. Let me just mute here. So wave 5 can be very tricky. So you might get some truncation, but you'll see that only go on a lower time frame on 4 hourly or 1 hourly. So our stock is still at the top there. So we want this one to reset at the bottom while this RSI stays above the 50 mark, and then we'll be looking for another opportunity to ride this move to the upside. Right. Right, so guys, I'll be happy if you guys have got any questions, because we won't be coming back to once we are done with the pair, we won't be coming back. So if you've got any questions while I'm going along, please do let me know. You can just write those questions there, and I'll be happy to attend to them. Right, so just once again, this is what we're looking at here. We are looking at this here as an A B here that ended here, and now we're looking for this C wave. So now one thing that you must take note, guys, is that if you looking at this wave A, this is a runaway market. So on our wave C, it won't be a runaway market. It's going to give you like steady levels. Rather, let me say, it will give you steady waves, like in this one here. You see, this was just a runaway market, and now this one here is not a runaway market. This is the market that is allowing us that we can trade it. Right, so I hope the structure here on a daily, it's simple, you understand it. Right, so if there are no questions, then let's just jump into a 4 hourly. We still have a few yen pairs that we need to cover. Right, so we look at this here as a wave 1 here, and this whole move here that is happening, A, B, and a C, which ended with an ending diagonal, is our wave 2. Now we are in this move to the upside for our wave 3. So we've already completed this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in minute. I'm calling this it has completed here, and now I'm expecting that we are going to get a move to the downside, which will be completing our wave 4 before we can start to get that move to the upside. So after we've ended this move, I'm just pointing now that this is just going to go down like this, but it doesn't have to go down like this. I'm expecting that it's going to be a 3-wave move. It's in a correction. It's going to be a 3-wave moves. So if you get this one coming around here, this area here, then we'll be looking to take this move to the upside. Okay, so you can see that we are building a nest there. We have this one here, a 2 here, and we are looking at this here to complete this wave 3 in the minute degree, before we can start to get this deep wave 4 in a minute degree, and then have a wave 5. So you can see that there's a lot of nest that is happening there. Okay, and I'm not doubting this nest is going to play out. We've been tracking this pair from these levels. Yeah, from here we managed to get all this move, so I don't see any reason why it won't continue playing out like we are expecting it to play out. All right, so if you look at the indicators, on a 4 hourly, we've got the RSI now. It's starting to trade below the 50 mark. It just started to trade below the 50 mark here, and I'm expecting that to happen because I'm expecting that we have this wave 4. It's going to be a deeper correction compared to these ones here. Right, let me just use the Fibonacci's. Let's see where it will terminate. We know that wave 4 will terminate around 38.2 of wave 3. Right, so this we're expecting wave 4. Right, so this is the start of wave 3 here. So that's why I'm expecting that this can go as far as that around 38.2. It doesn't have to go all the way. It can even just turn around this area here. There is a 23.6 level. but I would love to see this one coming all the way around to 38.2, and then we can look for this last move to the upside to complete that wave 3 in minute degree. Okay, I'm just accepting a few people here. Right, let's go on a 1 hourly and see what we have there. And why do I call this it has completed? Right, so in a 1 hourly, we're just looking at that internal structure there, that wave that extended. So we had this here as a wave 1, a wave 2. Let me use a different color here. And we've had this here as a wave 1, wave 2. And now this is a wave 3, 4 that we are looking for. We're still going to get this last move for wave 5, which will be completing this wave 3 here. So now what we have here in the mid, we had another nest. So we had this wave 1, 2, 3, and this wave 4. This is where we get a trade wave 4. Now I'm looking at this as completed. Why? Because I'm looking at this. We are having a divergence here between wave 3 and wave 5. So this is a divergence that I'm looking at here. Wave 3 here and wave 5. So I'm looking at this here as a divergence. Let me clear that. Right, so you can see that we are having a divergence there between wave 3 and wave 5. So that's why I'm calling that this has already ended here. I was still expecting that you're going to get a little bit of a push to the upside, but it looks like we're not going to get that move. We're starting this correction here of wave 4. Right, so in order to confirm that the move to the upside, wave 3 and between wave 3 and wave 5, you must get a divergence, and that's what we've already have here. So now let's just watch US dollar yen. Let's let it play out to complete this wave 4 before we can consider jumping in for this last leg of wave 5 there. Right, so you can even see now that we are starting to trade below. The RSI is just at the 50 mark here, so it's not interesting me that we can look for a move to the upside from where it is. All right, do we have any questions, guys, on a US dollar yen before we can continue? Or is it clear? All right, okay, let's move on now. Now let's look at pound yen, starting from the weekly time frame. All right, okay, awesome, Smith and Tendai. Thank you for confirming. All right, pound yen, won't be looking at this here. This was just a 3-wave structure like this, an ABC. You can see that it's in the same degree. So I'll be starting to look at this here. Let me just use the red one. This color does not look familiar. Right, pound yen, we had 3 waves to the upside. This is the 3 waves I'm referring to that completed this W here. And now we are still looking for this here as a 3 waves. We are still looking for this move for an X here. This is a week on a weekly time frame. This is just a forecast for the next at least a couple of years to come. At least 7 years. This is just a forecast for like 7 years. So we'll be expecting to complete that X there. And then after that, we'll be completing this move. We'll be expecting to complete this move here that is similar to this one for wave Y. So that is a structure that is taking place on a weekly, but we don't care what is going to, we don't care about this part here. Our focus for now is just around this area here. So you can see that we've been looking for this move to the upside from around these levels here on a pound yen. And now we are expecting that we are still going to get a move to the upside, at least to come around 152, 153 before we can start to get this move to the downside here. This move to the downside, this is the one here, A here. We are looking at this here. This corrective structure is a wave B, and we'll be looking for this wave C before we can expect to get this move to the upside here. Okay, just to check the indicator, so we can see that the RSI is right at the above there of the 50 mark. It is showing the momentum to the upside, and we are still expecting that we are going to get this one more move to the upside. This is in a weekly time frame, so this is plus or minus 300 pips from where it is now. We're still expecting that move to the upside before we can trade lower. So this is what we would like to see on a pound yen. If it does happen that we get maybe a deeper correction from the current levels, because that is very possible, then we would be looking at this year. As long as this RSI will come and retest this 50 mark, staying above the 50 mark, obviously the stock will be just be up and down, up and down. But if we can have this one retesting the 50 mark and the stock resetting at the bottom, then we look to trade this one to the upside. But for now, we are still looking at this structure here. Let me see here if we've got any possibilities for it to trade higher. Let's just how far that can go. Right, so we all know by now that or we all familiar that this does not have to terminate here. This is just for a projection for now. It can come as far as around 161, around 177, 161.8. It can even climb higher as far as this year before we can start to get this move to the downside. So for us, projecting this move yet does not mean that it's going to turn there exactly. So that's why before we trade it, we're going to need confirmations. Right, so let's just go on a daily. Right, so on a daily, we had this here as a three-wave structure to the upside for that W here, and we're looking at this here as a three-wave structure which completed that W, three waves up that completed that X here, and three waves to the downside that completed that Y in green, which was completing this X here. And now we are looking for this last move to the upside, three waves like this here to complete that Y in red there. Just align that. So we are still looking for this move to trade higher to complete that Y there. I would love to see this one at least to come and take this high here and then start to trade lower. If it just trade lower from here, this is still a valid structure. It's still a valid structure for it that it can trade lower. But if you look on a lower time frame, it does not look like it has completed. The sequence still shows that we are still going to get a move to the upside here on a pound yen. Let me just put the 50 mark here. So someone was asking me the indicator that I was using. You can see that I'm just using this in a manual way. I put the values myself and then I log that line them. Let's clear this one here. Right, so we're looking at this year as a three waves up, three waves down, and this year as a three waves up before we can get this move to the ups to the downside. So this move here, I'm looking at this year as an ABC structure, and you can see that on a daily or the RSI, you are still trading above the 50 mark here. So this still shows that the momentum is still to the upside. I'm not looking anything on the yen pairs other than buying the dips in 3, 7, 11 swing. If you get any corrections in 3 or 7 or 11 swing on a yen pairs, I'm looking for buy. I'm not yet interested on all the US on all the yen pairs. I'm not yet interested in selling them. Okay, let's look at the 4 hourly. Okay, let's just make that one be visible. Right, so let's look at that last leg here on pound yen. So I'm looking at this here. This is a leading diagonal, our wave A here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a wave 5 here. This is our A here. Now we are looking at this here as a correction, our wave B, and we are now expecting for this wave C to be completed. So we're looking at this here as a wave 1 leading diagonal again, and we're having this here as a wave 2. This is a wave 3 here, and now we are looking at this here as a correction for a wave 4 and a move to the upside that we're expecting for a wave 5. But it's very possible that we might have not yet completed this move here. You might still have a structure like this, either be a running flat, or it can even be an expanding flat corrective structure. Come and take this low here, and then we start to get this move to the upside. But for now, I'm still looking at this move to climb higher from the current levels. Right, so you can see there on the RSI, we are still trading above the 50 mark here. I would love to see this one staying above the 50 mark here for this one to continue climbing higher. So this is a significant move that will be tradable. If it does that, we get a deeper correction here. Let's say maybe we get a structure like this here, and then we will be looking to trade this move to the upside. So even if it does that, it trades lower here on a pound yen, I won't be interested in selling it anytime soon. So you can see that is my invalidation level here. If it can come and trade lower like this here, then I'll be expecting that this move to the upside terminated around here, and we'll start to get this move to the downside. So I won't be worried about this, because the sequence still shows that this move to the upside is not yet finished. So this was just a sharp correction here. It's possible that it might have ended, but I'm saying we need to watch out. We might get this flat corrective structure here, and then we get this move. If it does that, it will be a significant corrective structure, because I'm expecting that wave 4, at least, if you look at this here, this correction here in wave 2, in this minute degree, this correction here, if you look at the size of it and comparing it with this correction here in wave 4, by now we know that wave 4 is normally the one that will take longer to form and also be a bigger structure. So I'll be expecting something that is going to be bigger than this one here. So that's why I'm saying we might still get this move to the downside there, and then have our wave 4 around here, and then get this move to the upside. Right, so any opportunity that you see representing on the yen pairs where you're getting these deeper corrections, you must just look for a move to the upside. I won't be recommending that we sell the yen pairs. Okay, let's see here. This looks like it's a 1, 2, 3 here, and this is a wave 4, and this here being a wave 5. That is very possible. If it happened that we are having a nest here, because that's also possible. If wave 4 have ended here, like indicated, we might be having a nest here. This might be a wave 1, and we might start to get maybe a deeper correction like this, but I'm not expecting it to come here, and then we might be having a nest in wave 5. So this might be a wave 1 here of 5, and a wave 2, and we'll be expecting for wave 3, 4, and a 5. Obviously, then it will break this higher and trade higher, like I've indicated. All right. Any questions on pound yen, or if you are seeing it differently than the way we are seeing it? Is a truncation possible? Chima, if you are looking for, yeah, a truncation is possible, but I wouldn't say we're having a truncation here on our pound yen, because we are already trading above this wave 3 here. We are already trading above this wave 3, so I wouldn't call it truncation. For me, a truncation is when we are going to have 5 waves here, but they don't take this high of wave 3, then we'll call this a truncation. But already now we've traded above this level here. So this confirms that it's very likely that it's still going to trade higher. That's correct, Tendai. That's what I'm also looking at, that we are going to have a nest here in wave 5. We are going to have a nest here. And why is it possible that we are going to have a nest here? Is if you look at pound US dollar, if you look at pound US dollar, we are still expecting that we are going to get a move to the upside. So pound US dollar, we are still expecting that this is going to trade lower into the blue box before we can buy it. So when pound US dollar goes to the blue box, this year might be just completing this wave 2, and we start to get this move to the upside. So we are expecting that US dollar yen to trade higher, pound USD to trade higher. So that should make a pound yen, when it completes this wave, it should make it to climb higher faster than the rest of the yen and the pound pairs, because the pound will be going up, the yen will be going up as well. So you must look out. If you get this deeper correction here, this might be a trade that you wouldn't want to miss. You're welcome, Chima. All right, let's look at euro yen. Let me just switch off here. Don't want this one to be visible on a weekly. All right, euro yen. This is just a focus for the next 10 to 20 years, so you don't have to worry about it. So what we're looking at here on a euro yen, I'm just gonna start from here. This year is in the same degree as this one here, ABC. So if I were to label it here, this would be completing a W in a grand super cycle, and this year will be an X, and this will be a Y. This is how I would label it, if just in case if you're confused what is happening after we ended wave C. But hence I'm saying that this is just a 20-year forecast from now, so we don't have to worry about it. Let me just admit Paul. Right, so I'm going to be starting here. So we have this impulsive move to the upside here. This is our wave A here. And now we are still looking to complete this wave B. We are expecting to get this move here. We've already have this here as a wave A. And here we are still expecting that we are going to get this move here as a wave B before we can get this last leg for wave C. Okay, so we are still expecting this move, but this is a long-term focus, so you don't have to worry about that. So our focus right now is around here. We need to find out what is happening around that area there. Okay, so we need to come and look at this area here and this move here. This is what is going to play out recently, so we don't have to worry about all this forecast here. Right, so you can see that the RSI still shows the momentum to the upside, even though we are expecting that we are going to get a move to the downside on a lower time frame. That will be just a correction, not a deep move to the downside. The internals of wave W. Are you referring to euro yen, Chima? And if you just ask a question there, Chima, just indicate which W that you are referring to. Let me see here. Are you referring to this W here in an intermediate degree? If this is the one here, I'm looking at this here as a three-wave structure. This is just an ABC structure. The super cycle. Okay. Okay, please. What are the internal waves of? All right, I'm gonna answer you there, Chima. But like I've said, you don't have to worry about that. This is just a long-term forecast. You don't have to worry about that. But I'm looking at this year as a three-wave structure. I'm looking at this year as a wave A, this year as a wave B, and this last leg as a wave C. And that forms W. I'm not sure if you answered there. So I'm looking at this as a 1, 2, 3 here, and this here is a wave 4 flat corrective structure, and this last leg here is a wave 5, which complete that wave A here, and this here is an A, B, and a possible C, which end that wave B, and you can see this is an impulsive move for a C wave. All right, okay, let's continue then. Right, so let's look at the indicator here. So we are still seeing a momentum to the upside. We are still trading above the 50 mark here. So we are still going to get this move to the upside on a euro yen. This is our forecast anyway. We are looking for this last move to the upside, and we are still, the indicator still confirmed that we are going to get that move to the upside. But here, the stock might just reset here. The stock might reset as long as the RSI will stay above the 50 mark, and then we are going to look for that move to the upside. So the sequence still shows that we are going to get this move to the upside. So any dips in 37 or 11 swing, then we'll be looking to buy euro yen. Okay, let's see what we have there on a daily. So on a daily, we're looking at this here as a 3-wave to the upside. Yeah, this is a 3 waves A, B, C for that form, that W, and we are looking at this here as a 3-wave structure as well. This is a 1, 2, and this is a wave 3 here, which completed this X here. And now we are looking for the 3-wave to the upside, and that 3 waves is going to be this W, X, and we are looking at this last leg here for a wave Y. So now we want to see what is happening here. Okay, so but all in all, the structure that we are looking at that 3 waves structure here. This is a flat corrective structure that we are looking at. It might even trade higher here, come around here, and then we get a move to the downside. But we're not worried about that. For now, we are still looking for this move to the upside. If it goes all the way up, we should be holding trades from around these levels here. Just allow me to put that let's look it. So you can see that on RSI, we are still trading above the 50 mark. Yeah? So the momentum is still to the upside. So we're not looking anything other than buying the dips in the yen pairs. Okay, so in that last leg, we've already have this move here. This is a 3-wave move for the W, and we had this here as a 3 waves for the X. Now we are looking for the 3 waves to confirm that, to complete that Y there. Let's see what we have in a 4-hourly. This is where we would like to trade. Right, so we had here 5-wave to the upside that ended that wave A here, and we were looking at this here as a 3-wave structure for a wave B, and we've already had this 1, 2, 3 here, 4, 5 ending diagonal for wave 5, which completed that W here. Now we are looking at this. I'm expecting that we are going to get this move to the downside. I don't think that we are already done here. I don't think that we are already done here and we are going to start to get this move to the upside. Why am I saying that? Is because I'm looking at this. We are correcting this whole move here. This is the move that we are correcting, this whole move here. So I'm expecting at least a deeper correction here. But in any way, I was expecting that maybe around here we're going to get this here. I wanted this to be a deeper like this, but it kept on climbing higher. So it's possible that we might be getting a flat corrective structure here. And if in that case, that's still okay, as long as we are going to get this here in this size here. As long as we're going to have this in this size, it's still acceptable. It doesn't have to be deep. If it's a flat, it won't be deep. Then we'll be expecting to get this move to the upside. So I don't think that euro yen is already ended this year. I know there's been my colleague, I know that he's been presenting that we're looking at this year as a possible expanding failed corrective structure, and you are getting this move to the upside. But I'm not looking at it that way. I'm still looking at that we get this one more leg to the downside before a move to the upside here on euro yen. Please show how to count swing to get 3711, confirming the end of the correction. All right, so I'll show you that one later, Chima. Just remind me. So if you look at the indicator on a 4-hourly, it still shows that we are having a momentum to the upside. So this expanding failed corrective structure that is represented by my colleague is still very possible to play out. It's still very possible, and I like it that we've got an alternative view. If we get this one strong momentum, like we are already trading above the 50 mark here, we are still above the 50 mark. If this momentum becomes stronger, then we'll start to look for this move to the upside. But here, there's a possibility we might still get this here as an expanding failed corrective structure like this here, and then we start to get a move to the upside. Let me just draw this one neatly. We must still get this one here to come here and have this one to take this low and start to get this move to the upside. That's how I'm looking at it, and that's how I like to see euro yen playing out. But the indicator needs to confirm, of course. If we this is an invalidation level, but this invalidation level does not invalidate the expanding failed corrective structure. If it come and trade above here, it will be invalidating my view that I'm looking at this year. It will be invalidating that. So if it comes and trade above here, then we'll have to adjust the structure of that possibility of expanding failed corrective structure. Let me see here. Reverse flip. Let's take this one here. Okay, so if it's going to come and trade above here, this is just a reverse flip. If it's going to come and trade above here, then this is when I'm going to start to look at it this as the expanding failed corrective structure. Because if it's going to be an expanding failed corrective structure, if it plays out here, let's say it does this year, the expanding failed corrective structure can be anything between 105 and 138.2. So it can still climb and come around here and be an expanding failed corrective structure. But if it comes and break 161.8, 1.618 here and start to give us a flag like this, then we'll confirm that this was the structure that was playing out. But for now, I'm still expecting for this move to the downside here. All right, let's see what we have there on an hourly. Right, so another reason why I was looking at this here, I was looking at this. Let me just admit the guys are joining here. So if you look at this here, it is going up correctively. So I was looking at this here as a 3-wave structure for this W, 3-wave structure for the X, and now this looks like I was looking at this here that this is going to be a 3-wave structure. So around this area, around this blue box here, I was expecting that you're going to get this move to the downside. Still very possible that we get this move to the downside, but it still needs to be confirmed by we having an impulsive move. If we get this impulsive move here, and if it's going to come and take and come and break this swing low here, and we get a corrective structure here or a flag, then I'll be looking for this move to the downside. This move to the downside will be tradable, but if you trade it, you need to trade it cautiously, because the bigger picture here on a euro yen is for the move to the upside. So if you trade this one, you need to trade it cautiously. Get an impulse, a flag like this here, and the indicator is confirming by the RSI trading below the 50 mark, especially on the 4-hourly, then we'll take this one to the downside. Let's clear that. Any questions on a euro yen? Awesome, Tendai. Let's see here if this blue box was violated. Right, so we are still within the blue box on a euro yen. Okay, let me see. Let me see. How did I plot that one? Okay, no, no, no. The blue box that you are seeing here is not valid. I should have adjusted my fibs to around here. Then this would be my blue box. Let me adjust that one. That will be my blue box. This would be the area that I'm looking to. You can see that we just tag this here. This should have been here. But I don't like to trade these blue boxes on the flat corrective structure. I like to trade these blue boxes on a WXY structures, or at least in an ABC equal legs. So from here, we must start to get this move to the downside here. To just take that blue box. So we must start to get a move to the downside. We'll have to adjust that and update it. If you decide to take this trade here, you know your stop loss needs to be outside this area here. Please confirm, guys, if you can still hear me. I think Chantal, you have to check on your side. As far as it is that the guys, I think they can hear me. Yeah, Tenda is confirming that they can hear me. Chima, so you might have to check on your side, Chantal. Right, let's look at Chief Yen, starting from the weekly. Right, Chief Yan, won't be looking at this much of this structure here, because I'm looking at this whole move here. This three wave to the downside, it's still in the same degree that I'm looking at. So in any case, if I were to label this one here, this would be my bigger W in a super cycle this year as an X here, and I'll be looking at this structure here for a Y. So I'm not worried about that for now. For now, I'll be looking at CHF yen from here. Right, so we had this impulsive move to the downside here. This is our wave A here. This is an impulsive move to the downside here. Uh, Rather, my bad, this is a three wave to the downside for an ABC, which completed that W here. Now I'm looking at this here to still trade higher, at least to come around this other side of the channel to complete that Y here. And then after that, we'll be looking for this three wave to the downside for wave X here, rather. And then I'll be looking for this move to the downside for a wave X. Let me just align that one so you can see it. Right, so this is a structure that we are looking at here. We're looking at this here, three waves to the downside. So this is on a weekly. So this forecast is for a couple of years at least. So we are looking at that three wave structure to the downside here. So we are still expecting that we are going to get this one more move to the upside before we can drop here. And you can see that we are still trading about the 50 mark here, and the the stock is almost resetting, resetting there. So we might start to see a move higher in a couple of weeks coming here on Chief Yen. But we're not worried about that move here. So our focus for now is here. We're looking at this here, this structure here. We are looking at this here. This is where we are. Let's see what we have on a daily. Just let me read Damn, level from the sparks confuses me. I don't know if to start from the high of the spike or the close of the candle. Would appreciate if you could show us some example. Right. When it comes to Elliott wave theory, Chima, we label the where the price is, where the price ended. We don't worry about the closing of the candles. We label where the price is. Even if you get a huge spike like this one here, well, your analysis have to start on the weeks. We do include the weeks as well. All right, so we had this move here to the upside for these are three waves A, B, C, which ended that W here, and now we've already had this here as a three waves to the downside that completed that W. And then this here is an APC, which completed that X here. And we had this three wave move to the downside, this WXY, which completed that three waves for this X here in white. And now we are looking for these three waves to the downside, to the upside to complete that Y there. So we are still looking for this move. The sequence still shows that we have to come around this area here to complete this move here before we can start to look for a move to the downside. So you can see that the RSI is still trading above the 50 mark here. Then that's what we are looking for, because we are looking for this last leg to the upside here. So the stock is just coming from the oversold areas here. It's just resetted at the bottom. So we must still get this one to reset here. But as long as the RSI is going to trade above the 50 mark here, this move to the upside should come in a couple of days coming. We should see this move to the upside here. Okay, so I can see that we've got some new guys here. Just to look at this here. So we had this here as a three waves to the upside that completed this W here you're seeing here. Had this here as a three waves that completed the X. Now the expectation is that we get three waves here. So we've already got this move to the upside. This is our wave A. We're looking at this here. We are still expecting to get this wave B here, and we'll be looking for a wave C, which will complete W here, and we get a bigger correction, and then we get this last leg to the upside before we can drop lower. But you'll see this here, what I'm talking about on 4 hourly. So I don't think that we've already bottom here on a chief yen. I'm still expecting that we have one more leg to the downside, but it's possible that we might have ended this move here. That we might have ended this move here, but I'm not yet convinced. I'm not yet convinced. I'm still expecting that we have one more leg to the downside and then a move higher. Just a minute, guys. Please hold. Right. Sorry about that. All right. So So I'm looking at this here as a five wave move to the upside here. This is our wave 1, 2, 3 here, 4, and this last leg is an ending diagonal for a wave 5, which completed that wave A. So now I'm still looking for this wave B here. I don't think this wave B has bottom here. I know that my colleague has represented that there's a possibility this wave B has a bottom here. It's possible, but I would still love to see this one more leg to the downside. If it can come and trade above this level here, then that's when I'm going to I have to adjust my labels and have our wave B here and then look for this move to the upside. In any case, we are expecting that US dollar chief to trade lower. So chief yen should trade higher. We're expecting US dollar JPY to trade higher, US dollar chief to trade lower, chief yen to trade higher. So chief yen should see a very impulsive move to the upside, especially if it's going to break this high here. If that's the case, then we might have this wave B that it has already bottomed here. We are starting to get this move to the upside. That is very possible. Let me just see here with the fibs. Remember, we can have this last leg here terminating at 0.618. That is still acceptable. That is still acceptable. But for me, I would love to trade this one if it make this one more leg to the downside. I wasn't expecting this deeper correction here. I wasn't expecting this correction so deep. So it's possible that we might start to trade lower, especially if US dollar chief is going to trade lower. I mean to trade higher here if US dollar chief is going to trade lower. So it's very possible that we might have that. But if that's the case, then we are going to adjust our labeling here. Right, so let's just see how chief yen unfolds. So in any case, the indicator is still confirming that we are having a momentum to the upside. We are trading this above the 50 mark. So if we have this one resetting while this one is still above here, we might start to see this move to the upside. But up until they invalidate this level, I'll still be looking for this one more leg to the downside. If we do that, then it will be good that we look for buying opportunities around this area here. Right, so this was wave A here. So this year, let's say our wave B has bottomed here. So we'll be looking for this wave C here, which will be completing this W I was referring to. Then after that, we'll be expecting for a deeper correction and then a move higher in 3 waves again to complete that Y there in yellow. So that's the bigger picture of Chief Yen. Do you guys have any questions, or it's straightforward? You can see it. Let's see what we have there on a 1 hourly. Right, so this was the blue box. This was the blue box, but the blue box that are opposite the trend, I wouldn't recommend that we trade them. But if you are well experienced, then you can trade them. So I was looking at this move that it can trade here into the blue box. Then from here, we start to look for a move to the downside. But that I don't think that this box has been violated. Let's see here. So I was looking at this here. Has a 3 waves up, 3 waves down. So this is still valid. This is still a valid box. I wouldn't expect them to come and trade lower, higher here. If they come, that's why I'm having my invalidation level. If they come and trade higher here, then I'll start to look for this move to the upside. But for now, they are still trading below this 1.618. So we might still see this move to the downside here. Now let's see if we can, there's any way we can adjust the what we're looking at. So 1, 2, 3 here. W. So if you get any impulsive move here, if you can have an impulsive move here and then we get a correction, this will be a definitely move to the downside. So let's just keep that on our watch list. If you get that impulsive and we get that corrective structure here or a flag and the RSI is confirming on a 4 hourly, then we are going to look to trade this move to the downside. But if you have already taken the trade of which it is recommended, I recommend it that we take the trades. If you see these boxes here, these boxes are representing trading opportunities. If you see this here, you know that you'll be looking for a sell. I won't put it here if I won't be looking for a sell. When I'm on a screen, I'm not on the screen. You can look for an entries here. If you get this one stopped out, I'll be happy because this will be on our trading plan. If it trades lower here, it comes here. I'm there, I'm not there. You can look to take this one higher. So if you are holding that trade there, you keep holding. You're not yet invalidated. You'll only be invalidated if they trade above this level here. But for now, I'm still looking for this move to the downside here. That the indicator needs to confirm. We can't just run away from that. The indicator needs to confirm. These are computer generated charts. So that's why we have the indicator. Right. Awesome, Tendai. Right, so that's all what we have on a Chief Yen. Let's move forward, guys, and let's look at CAD Yen. Right, CAD Yen look like it's playing out the way we've wanted it, but let's start from the higher time frame on a weekly. Let's see what we have here. Right, so I'll be just starting my analysis from here. The reason is because I'm still looking at this move here. It's in the same degree, okay? So we've already have this move here. This is just coming like this. This is a W here, three wave moves, and we had this here as an X, and we're looking at this here as an ABC to complete that Y. And now what we have here, we've already had this move to the downside. Now I'm starting to look at it. So I'm not worried. I'm not much worried about this here. So we've already had this three wave to the downside. This is an ABC. Let me zoom in. Let me zoom in there. Okay, so we've already had this here as a three-way move to the downside for this W here. And now what are we looking for? We are looking at this here as a three waves up. This is a 1, 2, 3 for this W here. And now we are still looking to have this here as a three waves for this X here before we can have three more waves to the upside for a Y. But you don't have to worry about this here. This is a long-term forecast. This is just a couple of years from now, but it's good to know where are you going with this in the future. So we're still looking for this move to the upside to complete that X there in blue. Now I'm in the blue X. How did we have that blue X here? We had this here as a three wave to the downside. This is a three wave which completed this W here. And we're looking at this here as a three wave structure, flat corrective structure, an expanding flat corrective structure to complete that X. And then we'll be looking for this three wave to the downside to complete that Y there. But for now, we're still looking for this move to the upside. That move to the upside is the three waves here. W and X. Now we are looking for this Y here. Like I've always said it before that if you had an ABC, if you have a structure like this and you have three waves, ABC here, this side on the right side here, never expect that you're going to have this ABC here. What you're going to have is a structure like this: 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You'll be having a W, X, Y. This is very common. If you have a WXY here, then you might expect that you're going to have ABC here. So this is the case here. We had this ABC here that completed this WABC. Now we are not having an ABC here. We are looking at this here as a WXY. This is the three waves here that you are seeing here. We have the three waves here, 1, 2, 3. And now we're expecting to get these three waves and another three waves to the upside. All right, so the indicator, we are still trading above the 50 mark. We are way above the 50 mark. This is just confirming that we are having a momentum to the upside. But something interesting that is happening on the indicators here, you can see that we are having the RSI and the stock grouping here at the top. So these two are just grouping here. This is just what I use, that if you have these two grouping, it's very likely that you are going to start to get a correction to the downside. This one resetting, while this one still trade above the 50 mark before you can get a resumption to the upside. So this might be just an indication that this move that you are looking for on a lower time frame, we are going to get it, and then a move to the upside. You will see it when you go on a 4-hourly. That's where it's visible. Let me just put that one there, but you can see that you are already trading above that 50 mark. Let's see what we have on a daily. Right, so on a daily, this is what we are looking for here. We are looking at, I'm going to focus on this structure here. We are looking at this structure here. So we are still looking for this last leg to be completed. It does not look like it is completed. So I'm still expecting that we are going to have this one more leg to the upside before we can start to look for this major move to the downside. But for now, expect that you're going to have a pullback here. Somewhere, somehow now we should see a pullback here. Then after that, we'll be looking for this move to the upside here. This might even extend higher because this year we had this year as a three waves here. So if at most this one needs to give us a very deep correction before we can start to get these three waves move, and then it will make sense because I'll be expecting this that it becomes at equal legs, this move here at equal legs with this move. But for now you can see that this looks very impulsively moving up. So if it was to do this shallow correction, it means we might extend like this, unless if we terminate around 61.8, which should be around this area here. So we're still trading above the 50 mark here, and we still show the momentum. So what might happen with the RSI is that we might have this one coming to retest here. If the RSI retest here and this 50 mark holds, while this correction completes and the stock resetting at the bottom, then we'll look to trade this one higher. We'll look at the fibs shortly on a 4 hourly. So that's what I'm looking for there on a CAD yen. That we're expecting a pullback on oil, so we should also see a pullback here on a CAD yen. Let's see what we have there on a 4 hourly. All right, on a 4 hourly. Okay, so we had this here as a three-wave move to the upside. This is the three waves here. 1, 2, 3 for that W, and we look at this here as a three waves to the downside to complete that X. Now we are looking for these three. We've already looking at this here as a three wave that have ended. This here is an A, B, and this wave C. So we're looking at that cycle. It has already ended. This cycle from this low here, this W has ended. Now we are looking. So now see here that we should be getting a deeper correction than the one that is forecasted there. We should be getting a deeper correction here because this correction here, it should be correcting this whole move from here. So we should see a very deep correction. I would love to see that one. Let's just see here. At least if it can come around at least at 38.2, we should see a correction that will come here. How would it come there? Because we're already looking at this as an expanding failed corrective structure. We might get this here as an expanding failed corrective structure, get a connector, still have this here, and then that will be a WXY structure. And then we get this move to the upside. It will make sense if it goes as deep as this here, around 38.2 to the 50 mark. So I still think that we are going to get a very deep correction here. Alternatively, what we might be having here is that we might be having this as a wave 1, 2. This might be wave 3, and this here wave 4, and this is a wave 5. So we might be starting this correction here. If that's the case, that will mean we are not looking at that expanding failed corrective structure. Then we will be having, just delete that for now. So it means we will be having a structure like this. So it means we will be having this Y here. This here is a wave C, and this is our wave 5. And our wave 3 will have to be here, and this will be our wave 4 here. And this one here, we can even have this here as a wave 1 here. Being wave 1 being the longest one, that's okay. So we might still have, let me see here, between these two here. Yeah, no, between these two here, I don't see any divergence, but it doesn't have to. It's not a must, but it's just a guideline. So we might be starting this move to the downside here. We might be having this move here, ABC, and then a move higher. So this is might be a structure as well. Instead of us looking at this here as an expanding failed corrective structure, we must start to get this deeper correction. But anyway, we look at it one step at a time, one wave at a time. If it does that flat corrective structure here, if this is a flat corrective structure, it will still not look like it is completed to me, unless if we're going to get a flat corrective structure and have this one here, 3 waves, and still get this here as a 3 waves. And if that's the case in size, then our X might be here. That will be still be allowed before we can get this move to the upside. So we might be in this correction for quite some time here on Acadian. Right, let me see if I can bring back here. For now, let's just work with this. Let me see if I can bring those back. Okay. Right, so for now, this is what we have here. So we can see that now the RSI is starting to trade below the 50 mark here. So we might start to see this move to the downside. So now this looks impulsive. If we get any flag here, we can start to look for this selling opportunity here. I believe I will look at oil just for the sake of this CAT JPY here. So the indicator for now is just losing momentum to the upside. It's trading below the 50 mark. So if we get a setup on a 1 hourly, especially if we are going to have this trading below the 50 mark, this one resetting at the high here, structure confirming, and having a flag, then we'll look to take this one to the downside. At least if you want to trade this one to the downside, the indicator needs to confirm on a 4 hourly. Let's see here. What do we have on a 1 hourly? So I was looking at this here as an expanding failed corrective structure. If you remember last week, I was expecting that we were going to get this move around here and then we start to get this move to the downside, just like what I'm expecting on Euro JPY. But this one keeps on climbing. Even if it when climbed there, I did not look at it that it is going to trade higher. I instead I look at this here as a possible expanding failed corrective structure, or else running flat corrective structure. Running flat corrective structure in this year, it will come first. So you must still have something like this year. Instead of looking at this as an expanding, we must still get this one here and start to trade higher. But like I've said, it wouldn't make sense that we start to trade higher here. I'm still expecting this to trade lower. Right, so on the 1 hourly, we can see the indicator. We are already confirming that we are going to get this move to the downside. So now if you look at the indicator from the 4 hourly, it's confirming we are having this impulsive move now. We are expecting that on a US dollar yen, we start to get a move to the downside for that wave 4, if you still recall. On oil, we are expecting that we are going to get a move to the downside. On oil, we'll look at it. So CAD yen should accelerate lower, because the yen, US dollar yen, we're looking at to trade lower. Oil, we're looking at it to trade lower. So that correlation supports that CAD yen might start to do a strong move to the downside here. Right, so any questions on a CAD yen, or we can move and wrap up with the last two yen pairs? Any questions? Right, so we're good. Okay, let's continue. Can that be a 1 hour setup on a CAD yen? Right, so we need to wait for this one here. We've already having this impulsive move here, Tendai, but we need to wait for a correction here. We need to see a correction. If we get a correction here like this here, then this will be a setup for a move to the downside, at least to come and take this low here, and then we look to exit our trade there. But like I said, if you can hold this one, remember I've just showed you now an alternative view that this expanding failed corrective structure might not be valid. We might be starting to get this deeper correction. So if you take this trade, then you must be patient with it and hold. Even if it takes this low here, I'm still expecting that it might still trade lower. All right, let's look at New Zealand yen. Starting from weekly. Right, so for detailed charts, you can always refer to the website. This should be showing on a daily. Let me just get that one on a daily. Right, so some data is missing here, but this is what I'm looking at here. Just a minute. So we've had this impulsive move to the downside here. So we are looking at this structure here. This is an A here. And we are looking at this here as a three-wave structure for a B. And we will be looking for this move to the downside for a wave C. Okay, so that's what we are looking for here. I'm not much worried about this here, but we are having a structure like this here. So we're having this here as an A here and our wave B here, and this here was our wave C. So I'm not worried about that because you can see they are in the same degree here. These here are in the same degree. So that's why I'm just looking at that last portion here. This here impulsive A here, and this here is a wave B, and we'll be looking for this wave C here. So you can see that in New Zealand, we are still expecting that we are going to get this move. Hence, I was saying that I'm not looking anything other than just buying the yen. So any dips in 3, 7, or 11 swing, we'll be looking for this move to the upside here on the yen pairs across all the board on the yen pairs. Okay, let's look at the indicator there. You can see that we are still trading above the 50 mark here, and that's what we are looking for because we're looking for the move to the upside. On a weekly, you can see that we are on the we are above the 50 mark here, and we are resetting. The stock is resetting at the bottom, so we should start to see a move to the upside here. We should start to see a move to the upside after this correction that we are expecting, which is visible on a 4-hourly. Let's see on a daily what we have there. So on a daily, we're still expecting that we are going to get this move to the upside. So I'm looking at this here. Okay, so we're looking at this here as a three wave to the upside for the W. This here as a three waves for an X here. Now we are looking at this here as an A, B, C, last three waves that are going to complete that W there before we can see a bigger correction. Okay, so you can see that we are still in a upward trend here on New Zealand yen. So this is very similar to AUD JPY. So if you pay attention on this one, yeah, on AUD JPY, I'll be just moving as quickly as I can. So the indicator, we are just at the 50 mark here. We are just at the 50 mark. So if you get this one dipping below the 50 mark, you must know that this correction is very likely that it will be playing out. If this one closes below here, especially today, you can see this one needs to reset, but it doesn't have to go all the way. Structure first, and then the indicator follows. So we might start to, if this one closes below here, we might start to see this deeper correction that we're expecting before a move higher. But it's just visible on a 4-hourly. Let's see here on a 4-hourly what we have. All right, so we're looking for that ABC here. So now the ABC has already confirmed. The A has already ended. So I'm looking at this as a 1, 2 here, 3 here. This is a wave 4, and this here as a wave 5. Our wave 5 as a ending diagonal. And now I'm looking at this move here. I'm looking at this move to the downside. I know that my colleague also represented a different view that we might have this year as an expanding flat corrective structure, and we're starting a move to the upside. For that move to the upside to be alive, we don't expect that New Zealand yen can come and trade here. But if you look where I'm coming from with this year, I'm expecting that we start to get this deeper correction. I would love to see this correction here comes around here before we can entertain for a move to the upside on New Zealand yen. So the indicator on a 4 hourly, you can see that it is starting to trade below. On a daily, you saw that it is just at the 50 mark, which is there's a possibility that today it might trade below the 50 mark. So on a 4 hourly, it's already confirming, yeah, that we are trading below the 50 mark. So we might be getting this move to the downside. So we might be having a trade set up there on a 1 hourly. Okay, so this is my expectation here that we start to get this move. If it can come and trade below this swing, we get a correction. This is going to be a trade setup that will go all the way down. But of course, it won't just go in a straight line. We know that if you're trading WXY like a pro, we'll be expecting a bounce at around 61.8. Let's just measure that. So we will be expecting that we're going to get a bounce around this area here. 61.8 and 74.6. We're expecting that we get a bounce around here. That bounce, if we can have this one trading lower like this, we miss it for any reason, and then we get this one climbing higher like this for at least 50% of this leg here, then we will be looking to trade this last leg, which will be almost guaranteed that we get this move to the downside. Let's see here if we had a blue box. Uh, yes, Letlotlo, it didn't. That's allowed. That's a truncation. It's allowed. The only thing that is not allowed, Letlotlo, if I'm trying to read where you're going, you are looking at that there is no truncation on the diagonal, right? So the truncation won't be allowed here. Here, this is where we don't allow a truncation, but this can be a truncated diagonal. This is where we are not accepting the truncation here. Right, so you can see that we're in the blue box here. So we should have had this blue box around here. I like to have my blue boxes between 100 and 1.618 because anyway, if we trade here, you have to put your stop loss behind this 1.618. So that's why sometimes you'll see my blue boxes come around here. You're welcome, the total. Right, so now let's just keep this one on the ladder. If we get this here as an impulsive confirming, then we get a flag. Let's look to trade this one to the downside. If you miss it, like I've said, just wait for it to come here. It will bounce at some point. Then you can trade it here. All right, let's quickly take a look at AUD JPY, the last one, which is very similar to what is happening with New Zealand yen. Right. So if you look at across the board, let me just quickly show you what is happening on a weekly here. Right, so I'll be looking at this here. This is a 3-wave to the upside for that W here, and we've already had this here 3 waves to the downside for an X. Now we are looking for the last 3 waves here. So we are looking for these 3 waves to confirm that wave Y before we can start to get a move to the downside. So, but this is a long-term forecast I'm showing you. So what I want to show you is that we are still expecting that we are going to have a move to the upside. So if you look at the yen pairs, all of them, we are still looking for this move to the upside to finish before we can get deeper corrections on all the yen pairs. Okay, so we're still expecting this move here. This last move here, you see what is making, what is building up this last move here. Okay, so we had this as a 3 waves move to the upside for a W here, and this is an X, and now we are looking at these 3 waves here. Let me just show you on a daily so that you can see it. So you can see that on the indicator, we are trading well above the 50 mark here, and the stock just needs to reset at the bottom there. So if we get this stock resetting at the bottom here, of which this correction that we're expecting will be playing out, then we will be looking for that move to the upside while this RSI stays above the 50 mark. Okay, let's quickly look at what we have on a daily. Like I've said, this is very similar to what is happening with New Zealand yen. So we've already had this here as a three wave to the upside for this W here, and this is an X here. And now we are looking at this move as a wave A. You will see it on a 4-hourly. So we're expecting this B here, and then this last leg for a C wave to build up that three waves. That three waves I'm referring to is this one. 1, 2, 3 here. Now we have to have 1, 2, and a wave 3 here. So on a daily, you can see that even though we are still having the RSI trading above the 50 mark here. So if it does, for any reason, it trades below the 50 mark here, this will be just confirming this correction that we're looking for here. Not a deeper correction, but this correction will be just correcting this move here. So if we can measure that, because I would expect it to be around the 50 to 61.8. So we can still have this coming all the way down here. We can still have this one coming. I would love to see this correction coming along all the way down here before we can start to make a move to the upside. You will see it on a 4-hourly how we can get there. You will see it on a 4-hourly. Let me show you on a 4-hourly how we can get there. Right, so for now we just had this move here. This is a 5-wave moves to the upside that ended our wave A here. Our wave A, now we are looking for this wave B. This wave B normally will come around at 50 to 61.8. If it does come around there, we would be having a structure like this, which might be W, X, Y, if it has to come around this 50 year. So if that's the case, this would be a decent correction for me, or at least if it comes around this 38.2. Okay, so we can still have this structure here. We'll just do the measurement. So for now, the RSI here is still, it just started to trade below the 50 mark. Nothing that has been confirmed yet. It needs to confirm by the structure first. Let me show you here. Why am I having, I was expecting that we are going to get one more leg. If you look at the AUD pairs across the board from AUDSD, cross AUD pairs, you'll see that they look incomplete, all of them, other than the New Zealand yen and New Zealand pairs, which are already confirming. Okay, so let me just quickly take this one here. Just how far this can go. I could say if this one terminates here, so we can have this one. Remember, we can have this one trades as far as 61.8. So you might get this move comes around here. That will be at 38.2. At 38.2, it's not visible here. That will be at around 38.2, and then we start to get this move. This will be still acceptable. I'm looking at this here as a zigzag, but a zigzag in a WXY structure, in a 3 waves, not in an ABC structure. So this might have ended here. So we might have ended this. So we might have ended this here. But this will be very short. Will be very short. This will be very short, but we might have ended this one here. Now we start to get this move to the downside, but this still needs to be confirmed. I would love to see at least if it can come and break this low here. If it comes and breaks here, then we must start to look for this move to the downside. All right, guys, like I've said, AUD JPY is similar to what is happening with New Zealand. If you guys have got any questions, for me, this is coming to an end. We've covered all the yen pairs. So if you guys have got any questions, then you can just give me those questions and then we can quickly take a look at them. From my side, I'm done with the yen pairs. Thank you, Craig. All right, so this surgeon was just for Yen Pez. I will look at that outside of the record. You're welcome, Bashira. Thanks, Chima. All right, guys, let me end this session here. And thanks for being part of the session. And this session will be going on a daily basis. Cheers from my side. Bye bye.